All right, let's talk about Jalen Hurts and how will he perform in Super Bowl 59. Obviously, perhaps his career best game was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. How will he play in this one? What do I expect from him in this one? Well, I like Jalen Hurts. I think he's a pretty good quarterback, and I think that he could do some really nice things in this game. I also think that he is not a perfect quarterback. There are some criticisms I have of his game, and we'll talk about those criticisms as well. Let's just get into it. Starting off with the play you see on your screen, it's in the passing game. I really do think he does a lot of really smart little things that are kind of just like winning football type plays that might not show up on a stat sheet and also might not be something you notice right away when you're watching, just tape. So like this play, it's zone coverage, and you see the route that Hurts is going to want to look towards, right? Okay, that's one that can get open. You can see kind of past the player covering the middle of the field. There's definitely a window. But when this play begins, watch how Hurts plays this. He's looking essentially to nobody. He's looking kind of almost to the hash marks on the bottom half of the screen. There's nobody over there. Like, he's not looking towards a receiver. He's just doing what he can to freeze the player I've circled in black for Pittsburgh, just freeze that player there as much as possible. So then when he gets back over, he's now able to make this throw, and they're able to pick up a big gain. Again, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing amazing, but it's a good little thing that he does that allows these plays to work. Hurts is definitely someone who pays attention to this stuff, uses his eyes to get players out of position. Another thing he does is something like this. So this is a 3rd down and 5 situation. It's a zone coverage concept. You see the route concept on the screen where you have A.J. Brown running more of a setup route. Really don't want to hit the one that's just going to try and get past the 1st down marker right here, the curl route. That's one that they hope can get open. However, when this play begins, you see on this one, is it open? I mean, you could force this one if you wanted to. You could make this throw. It's not like definitely get off of this. Hurts doesn't. Hurts chooses on these types of plays. Let's not force the issue. And some people criticize him saying, hey, there's times where you have open guys. Maybe you should make the throw. But the flip side is that can also result in turnovers, especially in the playoffs against good defenses. So Hurts is going to instead do something different. Watch as he instead decides to flip this to Gainwell, who makes a man miss and picks up a 1st down. Okay, listen, had a tackle been made, that's a play that doesn't work, and Hurts had nothing to do with that. All Hurts did was gave his check down a chance, but sometimes this is winning football as well. Sometimes this is exactly what you need to do. Limit damage and then find ways to make things work. Put the ball in a talented player's hands, and sometimes a talented player can make a play to make everything work. Sometimes they can't too, but that's the risk you run. Granted, there is also the flip side, where this one, it's a 3rd down and 4 situation. You see that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be in zone coverage, and that's important to note. It's cover 2 zone as well. So 5 players are covering essentially 5 to 15 yards down the field. And what they're also doing is watching Jalen Hurts. Hurts is going to take the snap, and I think it's also worth noting, this is a coverage that you will see the Chiefs run at times in the Super Bowl. Hurts on this play, still relatively early on, and to be honest, he has all day to throw with the football if he wants. This is just a 3-man rush for the Pittsburgh Steelers, so nothing's really open quite yet, but also it's just a 3-man rush, right? Hurts decides to take off and instead of just sitting in the pocket trying to wait for something else to develop, and ultimately not only does he not pick up the 1st down of his legs, he fumbles the football on top of it. Okay, it's a bad play to fumbles, that is what it is, right? But the decision making is also what I want to talk about. There are times when I think he tucks and runs before he needs to, before he can try to trust that something will ultimately open up, and there also are times when he just holds onto the ball for too long and takes sacks. That's kind of the biggest knock on him that I would say is fair. I do think these are 2 things that he does need to make sure he doesn't do in the Super Bowl. I will say, the Chiefs, while they will play some of this coverage, as I mentioned, they also like to play a lot of man in that scenario. Running would have worked. If this play was man coverage, a rush would have worked. So it can happen. It's just, it has its downsides. Although going over here to something kind of similar, it's going to be a play action. You have A.J. Brown going over the middle. I would say, I think Hurts is very good at throwing when he's under pressure. Watch. Hurts takes the snap. He's going to run this play action. Pittsburgh's able to get some pressure on him, so he kind of has to throw a bit off balance, but watch what he does. Look, really good throw, is able to hit A.J. Brown, and they pick up a big completion there, get the touchdown, right? Like, he's more than capable of making these plays under pressure. So if the Chiefs are able to get some pressure, which doesn't happen a ton, he's probably just, again, when I say doesn't happen a ton, I mean doesn't happen a ton against the Eagles because they pass protect so well. But if the Chiefs do get some pressure, Hurts can still make things work. Also, like, the other big thing is just like the go route to A.J. Brown, right? It's such a tool in the tool belt of the Philadelphia Eagles, and here is an example of it where you have A.J. Brown running a go route one-on-one on the outside. Hurts is going to take the snap. And again, in these situations, you really don't get a ton of time to decide if you want to make the throw or not. Like right here, usually what you do is you kind of decide, I want to make this throw before the play even begins, and then you just pull it back if something looks horrible, like there's a disguise and a double team, or like your receiver just isn't in a great spot. Usually you kind of just have to make this throw when you want to make it. As you see here, Hurts actually goes with a back shoulder, which isn't always what he does, but this time he decided to make that happen. Brown's able to make the play. The reality is, the Chiefs will give receivers one-on-ones, and if A.J. Brown has one-on-ones, Hurts is going to put the ball in that direction. For better or worse, it's usually better. However, heading over here, it is not always better. Like on this play, it's going to be a one-on-one matchup yet again that the Steelers are going with here. Hurts is going to take the snap, and on this one, it's pretty good defense, and in fact, this could have been an interception. It wasn't, but that's maybe an avenue that the Chiefs could try and exploit if they can make something like that happen, if they can get a turnover there. I don't know. The other aspect, so, the Chiefs like to blitz. The Steelers will blitz. The Steelers are blitzing on this play. It's a cover one man blitz. And what happens if you do this is you're leaving yourself open in the running game, not just with Saquon Barkley, but also with Hurts, who we've seen them rush with him a decent amount this year and a decent amount in these playoffs, despite him having a bit of an injury. Watch as when this play begins, you get 5 offensive linemen on the 5 players over the middle who were rushing the passer, and plus they're rushing the passer, so you can kind of more easily get them out of position. And now Hurts is able to get to the next level just like that, one-on-one matchup against a safety. As you see, he makes that safety miss, and if it wasn't for TJ Watt being able to run him down, he would have been gone for a touchdown. This is and honestly, I think he still maybe could have gotten a touchdown had he chosen to keep running. He eventually looks like he decided to go down to avoid a big hit, but, big play there as well. That is something that he brings to the game as well. That's a tool in his tool belt as well, is his legs, which is very impactful. So for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, my final, predictions page of this video, where at the end of each of these, I give a 1 to 5 rating for each of these players or situations, whatever we're talking about. I'm going to go +3 for Jalen Hurts. That feels fair for me. Obviously, Mahomes is +5 because he's Mahomes, but I still really like what Hurts can do. I think he brings some good stuff to the table, and you just hope that he, knows in this game when to pull the trigger, maybe a time or two more than you would usually want him to, but also he doesn't go crazy and do it too much and turn the ball over. But he has been pretty good at protecting the football in the big games, so we'll see if that continues. No turnovers so far. Hopefully I'm not jinxing him if you're an Eagles fan, but yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.